It's time for NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. The latest from the Wenatchee Valley and North Central Washington with Steve Hare, Grant Olson, and sports with Eric Granstrom.
Good evening and welcome to NCW Life News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top stories, let's take a quick look at our weather forecast. And as we've mentioned, the last couple of days, changes are on the way. In fact, we could see some changes we're not necessarily happy about, as we may see some lightning along with scattered thunderstorms on Saturday. There's also the potential for gusty winds and possibly new fire starts. We are under a fire weather watch for all of eastern Washington. That will be in effect through Sunday, because Sunday our weather transitions into windy conditions and we may see some blowing dust, and that may make any new fire starts a much more dangerous situation. Much more on that coming up a little bit later on in your weather forecast. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. A new business opens in Wenatchee. More details emerge on an accidental shooting in Moses Lake, and several accidents slowed traffic on Highway 28. Later on, we'll have your sports, weather forecast, and our feature story today. But first, Chelan County Coroner Wayne Harris has declared the death of a Texas couple whose bodies were discovered earlier this spring in their pickup truck near Lake Wenatchee, I should say. He's declared that a double suicide. The announcement comes after the state crime lab released the results of blood toxicology tests and review of other evidence found at the scene. 34-year-old Roger Marburger of Humboldt, Texas, and his wife, 24-year-old Sarah Pischke, were found dead inside their parked pickup truck in the Chewacum Creek area. The coroner says there were no physical injuries to indicate any sort of trauma, and there was also no evidence to indicate that one of the individuals killed the other one before taking their own life. New information today on the shooting in Moses Lake Wednesday night at the home of a Grant County deputy. Moses Lake police report 29-year-old Deputy Jose Rivera accidentally shot his 25-year-old wife, Sydney Rivera, while handling his firearm inside their home in the 1100 block of Lakeside Drive. And that was around 8 p.m. on Wednesday. Sydney Rivera sustained a single gunshot wound and was taken by ambulance to Samaritan Hospital. She was later transferred to another hospital where she is listed in stable condition. The Central Basin Investigative Team has now taken over that investigation. Moses Lake police say there is no indication drugs or alcohol was involved in the shooting. Highway 28 traffic between East Wenatchee and Quincy was slowed for several hours yesterday by a rash of injury accidents. It started at around 11 a.m. when Washington State Patrol reported a two-vehicle accident 10 miles east of East Wenatchee that sent a Wenatchee woman to Central Washington Hospital. The accident occurred at 11 yesterday morning when a Toyota Camry driven by 74-year-old Lynette Rengley failed to slow down for a traffic stop or stopped traffic and struck a Volkswagen Jetta driven by 58-year-old Joshua Soski of Battleground. After the collision, both vehicles came to rest in the eastbound lane. Rengley was charged with speeding. Another injury accident happened on the same stretch of highway yesterday afternoon. 28-year-old Michael Collier of Wenatchee was injured when the car he was driving rear-ended another vehicle driven by a Quincy man. Collier was hospitalized in Quincy. Wenatchee Valley residents have another option for their grocery purchases. The Cash and Carry store is now open in Wenatchee. The ribbon-cutting ceremony was earlier this afternoon, and NCW Life's Jay Seebeck was there for the event, and he spoke with General Manager Rob Stevenson.
Oh, to come into a small community like Wenatchee is really, really cool for Cash and Carry, because that's really what we do best. Is we become part of a community and sell well to small communities. We better them from the point where they come in the store. They're able to buy perishable products all the way throughout to name brand products, anything that they need. The building was completely stripped, so it was taken down to basically gravel. And when I walked in the building to begin with just a few weeks ago, there were holes in the ground, a dump truck in the middle of the building, absolutely nothing in here. And to go from ground floor, absolutely zero, to coolers, racking, product, customers, it's been an incredible process. And as far as what it means for the community, there's nothing like Cash and Carry in this community. It's offering something that I think it's a long time coming for this community.
Cash and Carry is a Portland-based business that's been operating for 60 years with over 60 stores throughout the western U.S. Coming up, the Wenatchee Stand Down event draws hundreds of vets, and an accident involving two semi-trucks yesterday leaves I-90 a mess. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching NCW Life News.
Today we're watching an intriguing female searching for her ideal habitat.
It appears she's a social creature. Interacts well with others.
What determination! This Sheila can do anything.
Well, I didn't see this coming. She's enrolling in Charter College. Could this be her ideal habitat? Caring for others?
This, not healthy.
Start your evolution at chartercollege.edu.
I gotta tell you, I'm nervous. Selling your home, it's a big step.
Can we find the right buyer in this market?
Look at our website. When someone looks at your home, I can tell how ready they are to buy. See that number? The closer it is to 100, the closer they are to buying. So, I know who to zero in on.
So you have a secret weapon.
You mean, we have a secret weapon.
I like that. Oh, what do you think of the wallpaper?
I love that touch.
The National Guard Armory in Wenatchee played host to the annual Veterans Administration Stand Down earlier today. The event aims to help former military veterans learn about programs and services provided to them by the Veterans Administration. A rolling primary care medical bus was also on hand to provide health care. Zachary Badger with the Department of Veterans Affairs in Spokane says events like a Stand Down mean so much to veterans in need.
We're here at Stand Down Wenatchee version. You're kind of the mastermind for a large area of this event around Washington State. Tell us about the event and just how many people you serve.
Yes, sir. So we serve, right now I coordinate for Wenatchee, Moses Lake, Coeur d'Alene, and Spokane kind of has a year-round stand down, so to speak. And every year, this is the third year I've been doing it, usually we see several hundred vets in each event. With a mixture of homeless vets and veterans at various service areas with their families coming here for various services. So we have Wenatchee's great. Like I said, this is my third year where we've had service providers from within the Wenatchee community with haircuts and massages. We put on surplus for vets to help kind of get them along through the year. So it's kind of just a collective community coming together to kind of serve those who served our country. So.
And are the numbers pretty consistent that you've seen? I don't know how long you've done this, but year to year, are the number of vets that participate in this about the same?
Yeah, so like I said, the last 3 years, it seems like it's been pretty consistent. Some stand downs tend to generate more veterans than others, but Wenatchee, like I said, for the last 3 years has been pretty consistent.
How has social media changed just everything about this event and just services for vets?
See, this year has been really cool to see because the media exposure, just for the short amount of time that Northwest or the bunker folks had a chance to kind of promote this, was only 4 months, and so that's a very short timeline. Usually we have about a year lead time going to these events, and so the media exposure does a tremendous job for bringing in vets, and so we've had more this year, it seems like, than last year or the year before, so it's been good to see that aspect of it.
Anything else to add, Zach?
No, I just, once again, want to thank everyone for their support in this community. It means a great deal to the veterans. So.
We will have more on veterans issues such as mental illness and hearing loss next week right here on NCW Life News. Two tractor-trailer big rigs were involved in a crash yesterday afternoon near Ellensburg that left one of the drivers in critical condition. The Washington State Patrol reports 47-year-old Ricky Fuller of Tacoma was traveling west on I-90 in a Peterbilt truck and tanker 17 miles east of Ellensburg when he failed to brake, causing him to collide with an international tractor-trailer loaded with hay driven by 25-year-old Dustin Cruz of Moses Lake. Fuller was critically injured in the crash and was airlifted to Harborview Medical Center in Seattle. Both men were wearing seatbelts at the time of the accident, and State Patrol says no drugs or alcohol was involved. Charges in the crash are still pending. You're watching NCW Life News. Coming up next, Eric Granstrom has your sports update, followed by today's feature story. That and much more still to come on NCW Life News. Stay with us.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's blueberry picking season, and King 5 named us the second best destination restaurant in Washington State. So toss the family in the cruiser and get on out to Blueberry Hills for the best down-home scratch country cooking you've had in years. And don't forget our award-winning pies. We're fun, family-friendly, and a delicious destination year-round. We're open every day from 8 to 3, serving breakfast and lunch all day. So come on out to Blueberry Hills.
Wenatchee Valley College is now offering 4-year degrees. The need for engineering technologists is rapidly growing, and the new Bachelor of Applied Science in Engineering Technology is designed to meet the needs of local employers. Students with an associate degree can complete the program in only 2 or 3 years. Don't wait! The program is accepting just 20 students for fall quarter. Apply now at wvc.edu/engineeringtech.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
And a happy finally Friday. The Babe Ruth World Series for 16 to 18-year-olds has been going on all week at Ephrata's Johnson O'Brien Field, and 2 local teams made it as far as the quarterfinals last night. In Game 1, Moses Lake fell to Cape Cod in 10 innings, 2-0. In the nightcap, the Columbia Basin River Dogs blanked Tucson 1-0. That sets up the semifinals tonight at 5 when Cape Cod battles Charleston, followed by Columbia Basin and Mid-County, Texas at 8. The winners will play for the championship tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Well, here's what's coming up this weekend on the NCW Life sports calendar. It begins tonight with the Wenatchee Valley Slow Ride, hosted by Cycle Central. This slow ride, that is designed for fellowship fun, enjoying the beautiful outdoors, and raising money for charity. Smart Miracles attempts to provide meals for families during summer when their kids can't get their meals from school. It all begins at Pybus Market tonight at 5:30. There's even a dress-up contest. Also this weekend, Walla Walla Point Park, the place for the Clean and Sober Softball Association's annual state tournament. It'll run Saturday and Sunday. Finally, if the kid's driving you crazy in the house, it's too warm outside to play, take them bowling. Eastmont Lane's hosting a youth bowling league for kids age 5 to 19, Saturday mornings at 8:30. Well, the Seattle Mariners have dealt with injuries all season long on its pitching staff, and now they may have lost their best. James Paxton left last night's 6-3 loss to the LA Angels in the 7th inning with an apparent pectoral problem in his throwing shoulder. Seattle trailed much of the game after Paxton gave up home runs to Andrelton Simmons and C.J. Cron, but came up with a big rally in the 8th. Gene Segura smacked a 1-out homer to center to make it 3-1. Following a Robinson-Cano double, Nelson Cruz crushed a homer to right center to tie it at 3. But then Edwin Diaz came in the 9th, walked the first 2 batters he faced, eventually walked the bases loaded. That brought up Mike Trout, and he cleared the bases with a double. Manager Scott Service led off his postgame comments talking about Big Maple James Paxton.
Pax gave us everything he had. Made a couple mistakes. The curveball up to Cron and the home run by Simmons. Other than that, I thought he threw the ball pretty well. Wasn't as sharp early on as what we've seen in the past, and then he got it going there through the middle innings. And obviously had the strain of the pec muscle there, and took him out in the 7th. So we'll have a little more on that tomorrow. But it hurts. He's been our guy. Yeah, he's been awesome. He really has. Don't want to get too far ahead of it, but hopefully, fingers crossed that he isn't going to miss too much time.
Service said he felt they've relied on Diaz a little too much lately.
Again, our club finds a way to fight and claw, scratch. We get back in the ball game, tied up, some big hits. Segura's homer, and Cruz continues to tear it up at the plate. So. Disappointing the way it went down. Obviously, we've leaned on Eddie Diaz really hard, coming out of the break. He's been awesome and electric. The walks got him tonight. They were very patient. They laid off some very close pitches. And then, Trout got up to the plate. And, the walks leading up to that, really, really hurt. You're hoping to stay away from that situation. But, Trout put a good swing on a slider, and, that was the ball game.
Seattle and L.A. played the second game of the 4-game set tonight at 7:10 when Marco Gonzalez, former Apple Sock pitcher, faces Rico Nolasco. Also in the American League West last night, it was Chicago the White Sox downing the Houston Astros at 11 innings. 3-2, Baltimore over Oakland 7-2. In the wild card race, it was St. Louis topping Kansas City 8-2, while Tampa Bay was a 4-1 win over Cleveland. That means Seattle and the Rays are tied for the second playoff spot behind the Yankees, who fell to Toronto 4-0. With sports, I'm Eric Grandstrom on the NCW Life Channel. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. Our feature today highlights a summer camp for kids hosted by the City of Wenatchee Parks Department. The camp is themed Hollywood, helping the kids learn how to tell stories and make movies. NCW Life's Megan McPherson caught up with them earlier this week.
So tell us about who you guys are and what you're doing.
Yeah, well, my name's Francesca Neville, and I work with City of Wenatchee Parks and Recreation here, and we have a day camp program throughout the summer. And so each week during the summer, from June to August, we'll have a different theme. So this week is Hollywood Week. So we have about 30 kids that have come up with different scripts and movies, and we've been working on it all week. And so today they're performing them, and it was quite a ball. The kids have a blast doing it.
So can you guys tell me about your project?
We chose to recreate one of our favorite videos from online, and so we made props that were based off of what happened.
And you guys used some sound effects. Whose idea was it to use that?
It was Julia. She has the
sound machine.
You have the sound machine?
Yeah, I have a sound machine.
So you directed it?
Sort of.
So did you all color your different props? Or did one person do that?
We made the little grave, and then the pineapples were all of us.
Yeah.
I made the will and the mustache, which fell off. She made my turtle.
Very cool. Well, thank you guys.
The kids camp also stopped by our studios yesterday to check out the morning show set with Dan Kuntz. Here's a portion of their visit.
I'll say Dan is cool on 3. 1, 2, 3. Dan is cool. All right, you guys passed. He's gonna kind of disappear. Here you are, Will. Ooh. How come you're not in school? Okay. You guys enjoying the summer so far? You ready to go back to school? Yeah. What school do you go to?
Sunny Slope.
Sunny Slope. Who's your teacher gonna be?
I don't know.
Who do you want it to be? Who's the best third grade teacher?
Mrs. Martin.
Mrs. Martin, want to make a phone call? I'm a powerful person. I can make something happen. You sure? If you want,
always in trouble in school. You don't
that's nonsense. If you want Mrs. Martin, I'll make a phone call right now and make sure that happens. So this isn't even a phone. Who's the mayor of Wenatchee?
Something.
A person. Thank you very much. What's your favorite TV show? You ever watch Jessie?
Yeah.
They filmed that right here.
Really?
No, they don't. I made that up. Here we go. You ready? Here we go. Everybody's gone. Whoa! See that? Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Very cool.
Okay.
That's called chroma key. Isn't that cool?
I was like just looking at
Sunny Slope. Okay. You like Sunny Slope?
Yes.
Yeah. Who's your teacher going to be?
Lily.
I don't know.
Who do you want it to be?
Mrs. Martin.
Everybody wants Mrs. Martin. Why is that? Is she a good teacher? I heard she was tough. Wave goodbye. Bye. See ya. Woo.
We'll be back in just a moment with a recap of some of today's stories and your complete local weather forecast right after this.
Bay Equity Home Loans in Wenatchee, serving all of North Central Washington. We make it our priority to learn all about your financial needs. Whether you're buying your first home, refinancing, or want a reverse mortgage, our mortgage professionals are ready to guide you through the loan process. We have a wide variety of loan products to fit your family's needs. Call Bay Equity Home Loans of Wenatchee today for your pre-approval. 509-888-0466.
So, how you guys doing?
My job starts in Portland in a month.
Can we find a buyer that fast? I think we're good. Our CBX app tells us who the best potential buyers are. We can pinpoint where the hottest prospects are located, right on this map.
2 cities over.
It even lets us set the most accurate price.
Wow, it really does all that.
It really does all that.
Well, help us pack?
We're working on that.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar brought to you by First Choice Collision Center. Don't miss the Wenatchee Valley Farmers Market at Pybus every Saturday from May through October. Stop by and explore the unique mix of vendors offering seasonal fruits and vegetables, cut flowers, one-of-a-kind artisan goods, and tasty cuisine. Open from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the West parking lot. For more information and other community events, visit ncwlife.com.
You know, I nail it, but that's not quite good enough. All right, the full-size SUV redesigned this year. Wow. The brand new Nissan Titan, the truck everybody's talking about. And as long as we got that, let's start over. 2017 Nissan, the best-selling SUV in America. I freaking had it. Come down and see us at Town Nissan behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar brought to you by First Choice Collision Center. Saturday, August 12th, head to Silvara Vineyards in Leavenworth and enjoy the classical music of Charlie Solberg from 2:30 to 5:30 p.m. Seating is limited, so come early. Also happening August 12th, singer-songwriter Sean Mullins will be performing songs off his new album at Icicle Creek Center for the Arts at 7 p.m. For more information and other community events, visit ncwlife.com.
Welcome back, and now a recap of our top stories. New information today on the shooting in Moses Lake Wednesday night at the home of a Grant County deputy. Moses Lake police report 28-year-old deputy Jose Rivera accidentally shot his 25-year-old wife Sydney Rivera while handling his firearm inside their home in the 1100 block of Lakeside Drive, and that was around 8 p.m. on Wednesday. Sydney Rivera sustained a single gunshot wound and was taken by ambulance to Samaritan Hospital. She was later transferred to another hospital where she's listed in stable condition. The Central Basin Investigative Team has now taken over that investigation, and Moses Lake Police say there is no indication drugs or alcohol was involved in the shooting. The National Guard Armory in Wenatchee played host to the annual Veterans Administration Stand Down earlier today. The event aims to help former military veterans learn more about programs and services provided to them by the Veterans Administration. A rolling primary care medical bus was also on hand to provide health care. Zachary Badger with the Department of Veteran Affairs in Spokane says events like a stand down mean so much to veterans in need.
We're here at Stand Down Wenatchee version. You're kind of the mastermind for a large area of this event around Washington State. Tell us about the event and just how many people you serve.
Yes, sir. So we serve, right now I coordinate for Wenatchee, Moses Lake, Coeur d'Alene, and Spokane kind of has a year-round stand-down, so to speak. And every year, this is the third year I've been doing it, usually we see several hundred vets in each event. With a mixture of homeless vets and veterans at various service areas with their families coming here for various services. So we have Wenatchee's great. Like I said, this is my third year where we've had service providers from within the Wenatchee community with haircuts and massages. We put on surplus for vets to help kind of get them along through the year. So it's kind of just a collective community coming together to kind of serve those who served our country. So.
And are the numbers pretty consistent that you've seen? I don't know how long you've done this, but year to year, are the number of vets that participate in this about the same?
Yeah, so like I said, the last 3 years, it seems like it's been pretty consistent. Some stand-downs tend to generate more veterans than others, but Wenatchee, like I said, for the last 3 years has been pretty consistent.
How has social media changed just everything about this event and just services for vets?
See, this year has been really cool to see because the media exposure, just for the short amount of time that Northwest or the bunker folks had a chance to kind of promote this, was only 4 months, and so that's a very short timeline. Usually we have about a year lead time going to these events, and so the media exposure does a tremendous job for bringing in vets, and so we've had more this year, it seems like, than last year or the year before, so it's been good to see that aspect of it.
Anything else to add, Zach?
No, I just, once again, want to thank everyone for their support in this community. It means a great deal to the veterans. So.
And we will have more on veterans issues such as mental illness and hearing loss next week, right here on NCW Life News. Wenatchee High School Auditorium is the venue for Saturday's Town Hall event hosted by U.S. Senator Maria Cantwell. The doors open at 9 a.m. and the meeting starts at 10 a.m. It's open to the general public, but you have to pre-register for a ticket to get in. The senator will also field questions, but attendees will have to enter a raffle and then be chosen by drawing. Cantwell's Wenatchee visit follows similar town hall events in the Seattle area. She also plans another event in Spokane next week. A public memorial is scheduled for this Sunday in Leavenworth for Matthew Folden, the man who was fatally shot 2 weeks ago by a Wenatchee police officer. The Wenatchee World has published an obituary announcing the service, which will be held at the Leavenworth Fest Hall Sunday at 10 a.m. Attendees are encouraged to bring a favorite dish to share. Also, an account has been established at Banner Bank to help offset family expenses. Meanwhile, the investigation into the shooting is continuing. Time now for your weather forecast for north central Washington. Before we get to the details, let's take a look outside our weather window and what we're seeing out there. A pretty darn nice day, not nearly as smoky as we have seen about the last week and a half or so. Today, probably the best day that we've seen, and that was allowing temperatures to get once again into the mid and upper 90s. But what a beautiful shot of the George Seller Bridge and the walking bridge along the Columbia River here in beautiful Wenatchee. And as we get to our forecast for the weekend, yeah, it's going to be a little bit of everything as we move into tomorrow and into Sunday. Thunderstorms are in our forecast for tomorrow. We could see scattered thunderstorms, about a 30% chance of it here in the Wenatchee area. We also have the potential for gusty winds and possibly, boy, we're hoping not, new fire starts. A fire weather watch is in effect right through Saturday and into Sunday, because by Sunday we are going to see some windy conditions here in north central Washington. We will see the potential for blowing dust. An existing fire spread is also a possibility if we do see some lightning-caused fires on Saturday night. Weather-wise, we're seeing a ridge of high pressure that's currently positioned directly over the inland northwest, with a relatively strong weather system sliding down its eastern edge into Montana. You can see that on our satellite loop. To the west of the ridge is our much-anticipated trough of low pressure. You can see it moving down from the Gulf of Alaska. That's part of a parent upper low that's situated over the Alaska Peninsula. The progression of these two weather features over the next few days will shift that upper ridge into Montana, while the trough of low pressure digs in over Washington by late tomorrow afternoon and especially by Saturday night. That trough will bring in a cold front as well that will drop temperatures substantially from what we've been seeing. The storms we see on Saturday will start out on the dry side, but as the atmosphere moistens up, those storms will turn wet, and we could see some nasty weather in some locations. Locally, short-lived moderate to heavy rain will also be possible. So let's now take a look at that forecast. Tonight we can expect mild overnight lows once again. We'll call it partly cloudy skies and 70 degrees. Tomorrow, thunderstorms, a 30% chance of it in the afternoon, 93 our high temperature. Maybe some lingering showers into Sunday morning and much cooler, 83 our high as we end the weekend on Sunday. Then a nice start to our work week next week, Monday, Tuesday, sunshine, 85 and 86 both of those days. And then we are warming up again. Wednesday, sunny and 89. By Tuesday, back into the 90s with sunshine and 92 degrees. Closing out our newscast today with a video of the day. These hikers came a little too close for comfort with one of the forest residents.
Shh.
And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around north central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us and have a great weekend.
This has been NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. For more news, log on to ncwlife.com, like us on Facebook, and follow NCW Life channel on Twitter.
SkillSource specializes in assessing and guiding